Make a brief statement, I guess, as usual, and then open it up for questions. You know, I just told the team after the game I was proud of them, and I think what I told them and what I truly believe is we won this game this past Monday through Friday in their preparation. I was proud of our staff for the game plan in all three phases, and what we told our players all week we had to do to win this football game. I thought we did, and we weren't perfect. And again, I'll probably sound like a broken record throughout this season, saying that I don't know that we'll ever play a perfect game. But defensively, we created a couple turnovers. We tackled. I want to say well. It was not well at times. You know, I don't know how many we missed. I know we missed one on a long run for the touchdown they had. So we'll continue to obviously work on that. Whether we miss tackles or don't miss tackles, that's going to be something we continue to emphasize, and that'll be our top priority defensively. But we stopped. I am going to look at their stats here. 483 yards. That's too many. You know, didn't feel like it on the field, and I don't think we did a great job getting off the field. When we had certain opportunities, I thought they converted. But again, I liked our energy defensively. I did like our tackling at times, but not consistently enough. Offensively, we took care of the football. We did not turn it over, and we were balanced again. I think we had over 300 yards rushing and over 300 yards passing, and we can do that. I think you got a great chance. I thought we executed the game plan, and what you saw out there. Specifically for this week were a couple of wrinkles we added primarily in the run game, which created some big plays for us and some big plays for Charles Sims. And then on special teams, I thought we did a great job in coverage. You know, we punted the ball well on the few that we had. We covered kickoffs well, and it wasn't coach speak when I talked about Breland Chancellor coming into this game. I remember him quite vividly from what he did to us last year at their place, and he's a really, really talented young man. So I liked our game plan in the coverage aspects of special teams, and I liked how we protected and converted our extra points and field goals. I was proud of Matt Hogan for responding and playing well tonight. You know, what we've talked about all week, and we emphasized again in our team meeting before we got on the bus and came over here, was to continue to reduce our penalties. I think we had 4 penalties. We did have 1 false start on a wide receiver. We had a pass interference call. And then I know I had one when I took the delay a game to back the ball up for one of Matt Hogan's field goals, and I don't recall the 4th one offhand. I know I talked about it earlier. So we had 4 penalties. 1 was on me, so we really had, 1 was 12 guys on the field, which was a substitution deal where I thought we might have had a little bit more time to match their personnel, and they didn't give it to us. So I liked our focus there in terms of penalties. So what you saw, in my opinion, was great preparation by our staff and by our players, and our players doing what we had to do on offense, on defense, on special teams, and with regards to penalties as a team to win the football game. Having said all that, I will open it up for questions.
Tony, since the open date, Charles, obviously he's healthy, but I mean, what can you say about what he did last week, and then topping that this week with the 210?
Well, it's something, you know, and Chuck Brown asked me that on the radio just now, and it's something I'm probably taking for granted, and we know what kind of special young man he is and what kind of a dynamic player he is and a leader for us on and off the field. So what he's doing is no surprise to me. I don't think it is for you or Chuck or for people asking me those questions either. You know, we got to get him the football. Again, we've done a great job, I think, of getting him the ball. Looks like he ran 21 times and caught 5 passes. So there you go. He touched it 26 times, and again, that's right around the 25 mark that we're looking for. So he's dynamic, and I will say this, as special as he is, again, football is the ultimate team sport, and you know, without our guys up front, our offensive line blocking and finishing blocks the way they are and using their technique and not getting holding penalties, I thought our receivers did a nice job blocking their defensive backs and outside linebackers on the perimeter. And again, I like the game plan where we brought in a couple of new runs to attack North Texas's defense.
Coach, you've been willing to make changes, especially on defense, even in the coaching staff, some other situations. Has that always been part of your philosophy, and how has that contributed to the team's turnaround?
Well, you know, the one thing that I have is a plan, and you know, I've heard before in my years of coaching, people say, well, that guy's got an agenda, or so-and-so's got an agenda. Not necessarily talking about me, but about coaches. He's got an agenda, or he favors this person or that side of the football. If I have an agenda, it's winning football games. And if I feel like making a change on the coaching staff will help us, then so be it. We'll have to do that. And we did that. Not a lot of people saw it, but we've brought Zach Spavital down to coach the last 2 games on the field. They moved Carlton Hall up into the box the last 2 games, and that's helped as well. You know, and that's not a reflection on them as coaches, but the first couple of games we had Coach Logo and Coach Hall on the field. Those are 2 of our D-line coaches. We had Coach Spavital and Coach Bryant, our secondary linebacker coaches, upstairs, and I felt like we needed to maybe tweak that. Thought maybe it would help us. So, and same thing, you know, going with your question for players. You know, I think one thing with my special teams background is I think what makes a good coach in the kicking game, and I think what makes a good head coach is being able to look at personnel, and I'll use the phrase "think outside the box," meaning, okay, that player is playing this position, but maybe he's not a running back, maybe he's a defensive end. You know, maybe this guy's not a corner, maybe he's a safety. So, you know, I think you've got to be creative and kind of project what will help the team best and where they're best suited to play. And if you get that done, if you can take a young man, move him to a position where he's best suited to play and which helps the team, you're going to have success. You're going to win more football games. So I think, you know, again, whether it's moving players around, moving coaches around, whatever we feel like we've got to do to be successful, that'll help us win. That's what we're trying to do. It's you know, it took us a couple games, but I really like where we're at the last couple of weeks with the combinations we've had with our players defensively, offensively, and in the kicking game. And I like where our staff is at right now.
Tony, they scored on their opening drive of the second half, and I think they hit it to 10, but you guys came back and scored on the next 3, and your defense forced them to punt, I believe, the next couple after that. Can you just talk about that swing there and how they looked like they had a chance there to get into it, and you guys kind of answered?
Well, they did, and, you know, that was disappointing to me. You know, I thought they got some momentum right before half with their score. And then with us being able to answer that right before halftime, kind of, I thought, swung the momentum back to us. You know, I give them credit. They did a nice job coming out of half and marching down the field. I want to say it was a 75-yard drive after a touchback and scoring a touchdown. And then that was disappointing. You know, I was hoping we could go down and pin them back on the kickoff and have our defense come out and stop them, get the ball back and you know, regain the momentum. So they kind of took it there, and then we went down the field and answered with Matt Hogan's 50-yard field goal, which was big. So, you know, again, I think, you know, again, I give them credit, unfortunately. And then what I will say is this, too, with the adjustment they made at halftime and came out, they did something different, running the football, the way they ran the football against us to start the third quarter. And, again, I'm proud of our defensive coaches. While we had the ball on offense and went down and converted Matt's 50-yard field goal, then we made adjustments to their adjustments, and I think that showed what we did the rest of the game defensively. So I was proud of our coaches to make that change and make it effective for the rest of the game.
Tony, I was wondering if you could say a few words about David's play. It just seems to be growing in confidence each week.
You know, again, you know, he's a guy. And what comes to mind right now when you ask me about David Pilot is kind of the question about Charles Sims. Because I've got the utmost confidence in David Pilot, and he's getting better and better and better every week. And you know, he's not perfect yet, and he'll tell you that before I will. He is, you know, one of the things that makes him such a great competitor is he is a perfectionist, and his preparation is as good as any quarterback I've been around. And I think you know, the Coach Bush coaching him the last few weeks, and him growing in gaining, if this makes sense, he's getting better from experience. And you know, I really like his decision making right now, and he's taking great care of the football, and that's what you got to do with the offense we run. You know, when I talk about ball security, I always make it a point to talk about the backs and receivers that are holding the ball and the quarterbacks when they're making their decisions. So, you know, he's getting better every week, and I'm probably just getting a little bit used to him. I'm looking at 31 for 41, 321 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, our long was only 27 yards. That was by design going into this game with what North Texas did defensively, and he's managing our offense extremely, extremely well.
Tony, you mentioned earlier just on some of the wrinkles you guys added during the week for the running game. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on what you guys did and how you felt like they executed?
Well, I think, you know, sometimes in this air raid offense, and that's not necessarily a term I've given it. I think maybe the media has more than I have, but sometimes in that air raid family, it's kind of we do what we do. We run inside zone and outside zone, and people are going to have to stop what we do, and that's you know, again, going back to what I've said for years now, thinking outside the box and being creative and doing things people haven't done before. You know, our offensive staff this week came up with a couple of misdirection runs, and they were man schemes, not so much zone schemes, where we were blocking down and pulling guards. And again, we a couple plays we would send our line to the left, but we were giving it to the ball carrier going to the right, and keeping their end and linebackers kind of off balance. So those are a couple of things our offensive staff came up with early this week. And really, our players did a great job learning them, understanding them, and executing them this afternoon. With really, you know, 5 or 6 days in terms of running those plays. Those were brand new to our offense this week. On the delay of game penalty, you know, the ball was on the 1 yard line on the right hash, and I want to say there was a timeout on 3rd down. It was 3rd and goal from the 1, and I made the decision if we didn't get the touchdown, I told our offense, if we don't get the touchdown, we're to kick a field goal. And the hardest angle for a field goal for a right-footed kicker is from the 1 yard line on the right hash. So, and I don't know how long I've been coaching, 17 years, but I've always tried to get a delay of game taken if you ever stop there. And I guess now that I'm able to call the shots, I don't have to ask anybody if we can do that. So for the angle for Matt Hogan's kick, we took the delay of game and backed it up 5 yards just to help him with the kick.